In May of 2023, we began an epic travel adventure across this country on the back roads of the Transamerica Trail. It would ultimately become a 7-week, 7,000-mile, coast-to-coast expedition, living out of our Jeep with our dog, just the three of us, traveling each day as we moved closer and closer towards our goal of that Pacific Coast beach. It was our first major step towards defining what best life means to us. This is our story. This is the Transamerica Trail series. In the first 5 episodes, we've traveled from Orlando, Florida, all the way up to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. That's where we got on the Transamerica Trail and headed west. We ended up in Ripley, West Virginia, where we turned around and followed the Transamerica Trail back east and then south, and now down into North Carolina. Over the last 11 days, we've traveled nearly 2,000 miles. 1,200 of those miles have been on the Transamerica Trail. Now, we're ready to begin what's ultimately going to turn out to be one of the most beautiful and enjoyable travel days we've ever had. Hey, good morning, everybody. We are back on the road this morning. We're on North Carolina Trail 5. We finished up North Carolina Trail 4 early this morning. We only had a few miles left on it. As we ended the day yesterday, we came through Little Switzerland, which if you've not heard of that place, look it up. It is fantastic. The views from there, amazing, amazing. And we stayed at the Alpine Inn. It's a great little hotel right on the edge of the road, overlooking a tremendous valley view. It's spectacular. We highly recommend that Alpine Inn. Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Johnny, wow.
Wow. So this morning we're up, we're going, we were looking to get to Crabtree Falls. It's a little 1.5 mile hike off the trail. But we're not going to be able to do it. They've changed around the parking. Now you have to park down the road a ways, and so the 1.5 mile hike becomes more than 3 miles. We just
Round
don't
trip,
have,
not one way.
We don't have time for that this morning, so we've got to keep going. We're about 10 miles west of Marion, North Carolina. This forest road that we're driving through right now is, again, another beautiful forest road here in North Carolina. And look at this. Look at this. This is like the 5th or 6th one of these that we've seen already just today.
Go see some stuff?
Oh.
Go see some stuff? Let's see if it's okay. That's a waterfall. That's the glass mine.
All right, guys. Well, that drive has been spectacular. We've been on the Blue Ridge Parkway for about an hour, about 20 miles northeast of Asheville, North Carolina. Really, really enjoyed that drive. The views there are just absolutely spectacular. If you've not taken that drive, come to Asheville, go northeast on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Check that out. That is one of those things that you really have got to see for yourself. Now we're coming off the Blue Ridge Parkway and we're supposed to be catching back onto the Transamerica Trail as it kind of wanders away from the Blue Ridge Parkway. But as soon as we do that, we're running into a closed gate. So we're going to have to go a little further down, do kind of a detour bypass. This is the first closed gate that we've encountered on the Transamerica Trail trip. All right, so we're back on the trail. We had to come around and we caught up at Bernardsville, North Carolina. We were off trail for probably about 10 miles. It took us about 20 minutes to work our way around, and we're back on track now. All right, guys, so we finished up North Carolina 6. Now we're started on North Carolina 7. This is only a 24-mile section, so we should move through it relatively quickly. But as soon as we started, we began to climb again, went to gravel roads, and
Very steep climbing.
steep and winding roads. So something tells me this one's only 24 miles because we're not expected to get through very quickly. All right, so we finished up North Carolina 7 and we've just started North Carolina 8. Now 8's the one that we've been trying to get to. It's only about 25 miles long, 24 and change. But this is the trail that's going to take us to where we're hoping to camp tonight. In the last few miles of North Carolina 8 is a campground called Cataloochee Campground, and that's where we're hoping to be able to stay. When we called this morning, they had 7 or 8 campgrounds available. We're hoping that when we come rolling in, they'll still have at least one that's going to work for us. So,
We've been trying to stay here for a couple of trips now. So maybe this time we'll get to actually stay there.
Good morning, guys. We're here at the Cataloochee Campground. It's about an hour northwest of Asheville, North Carolina. We stayed here last night. It's a simple campground, no electric, no water, at least at the tent sites. There are a few RV sites and maybe they have electric, I don't know. Bathrooms, no showers. A simple campsite, but it was really all that we needed last night. Our campsite right here is about 50 yards through this woods right here to my left and right up against this creek, this little river. So this is what we listen to all night. By the end of the day, we should be very close to finishing up North Carolina. And in that general area, we have a friend from the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club who's over there and has offered to let us come and stay with him at his cabin tonight. So that's what we want to do. We've got to get somewhere in the area of 160 miles under our belt to get to that general location. So anyways, 160 miles today on the North Carolina tracks of the Transamerica Trail. We're cleaning up a few things. The tent's all packed up. We're ready to go. Let's get to it. This morning we were checking all of our fluids on the Jeep. Everything looks good. Everything's fine. A mouse evidently was in the engine compartment overnight, and he jumped up onto the top of the engine, saw us, and then bailed and took off back down into the engine. So I guess we picked up a field mouse last night. Looked around. The only damage we saw was that he'd been chewing on the insulation cover that we have over our primary battery. So there was a little ball pulled up where he'd been kind of pulling back like he's going to make nest material. Guess he thought that that would make a good material for his nest. I'm hopeful that that's the only thing that he chewed on. Hopefully he wasn't back there getting on wires or anything else. And hopefully we interrupted him before he got too far.
Hey, Boomer. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes a parent.
Okay, so track 9 on North Carolina 9 is giving us our second road closure right here at Cataloochee. Looks like there's about a 5-mile section of the road that's closed off. There was a sign right there at the entrance. It says, hey, look, your GPS mapping is incorrect. Do not take this path. You will not get through it. So we're going to backtrack. We'll come back down here. Probably take us about 10 or 15 minutes to come around, work back around. We'll meet it back down there in Maggie Valley and reconnect. Not a big deal. This is only our second one. We've been on the road for almost 2 weeks. So all together, not an issue, but it is something that you have to be prepared for. Now, you guys know that we are very careful not to fly our drone in areas where it's off limits. And we knew that before long we'd begin to approach the Smokey Mountain National Park. We wanted to fly the drone before we got into that no-fly zone. While we were doing that, our drone was nearly taken out by a hawk. It all happened very quickly. It was just a flash and it was over. But when we got the footage downloaded and played it back frame by frame, we could see just how close we were to losing our drone. Hawks are no joke, and it could have easily destroyed us, but fortunately, it decided at the last second that it was going to change course and leave us alone. No matter how many times I watch this, I just cannot get enough. It's amazing footage, and I'm so happy that we were able to capture that moment. You never know what's going to happen on an adventure. And this is just one of the many things that happened while we were filming the Transamerica Trail series. All right, guys, we found the Great Smokey Mountains on a clear day. There's no smoke to them today. We've had rain going on and off all week, but today, these Smoky Mountains are clean and clear. All right, guys, so we just finished up North Carolina track number 9, and we're starting NC10 right now. We came into the Smoky Mountain National Park, got on a really nice scenic highway that was going up, a lot of turnoffs, overlooks. So we're coming up and we're going down that, and then we get up and there's like a little cul-de-sac, and loop right off the end of it is a dirt and gravel road. And we've been on that one now for about 6 miles, just making our way down the backside of the mountain, and we're seeing field mice like crazy. We saw like 3 field mice in about a 10-minute section there. We hardly ever see field mice when we're out on these types of trails. Then this morning we've got one in our engine compartment, and then within a few hours we get on this trail, we've got 3 more field mice. This is evidently the section of the country where they've got a lot of field mice. Yeah, a lot of people come and see the Smoky Mountains. If you're on the Transamerica Trail, you can drive through them, like on the mountains. Alright, so we had our 3rd detour of the day. We hadn't had any, and then we've got 3 today. So after we came out south from Cherokee, drove through some winding neighborhood areas, and we ended up down a little town called Wilmot, North Carolina, and we're supposed to cross over a little creek there, but they'd taken the bridge out for construction. So we had to turn around, back up, come down a few miles to Whittier, and we can get back on the trail there. We haven't had any workarounds or anything until today, and here we are. Now we've got 3. All right, guys, so we finished up North Carolina track number 11, and we're on to North Carolina track number 12. 11 was a lot of fun. We liked it. A lot of mountain roads, some really cool stuff there. Not long after you get onto track number 12, though, you move over into the Nantahala National Forest and drop right in to a really nice trail that runs along the river for about 1.5 miles. Really, really nice drive right there. Take your time there.
Stop and fish if you want. Lots of spots.
Yeah, a lot of people fishing. There's people camping right on the river. It's a lot of shallow streams and stuff, so you see kids out there playing and swimming in that. It's a great place for people to come out and enjoy some time with the family. So if you got a little extra time, stop, put your feet in the water. It's a good place for it. In the next episode, we're going a little stir-crazy after 2 weeks in the Jeep. And as we prepare to move into Tennessee and face the toughest trails yet, we're finding evidence that the field mouse is now inside the vehicle. The Best Life Adventure Channel's Transamerica Trail series is brought to you by Extreme Jeeps and Trucks in Orlando, Florida, and by RCI Jeep and 4x4 in Melbourne, Florida.